The message arrived on a Tuesday. Earth's deep space arrays picked up the signal from just beyond Mars' orbit. It was clear, precise, and unmistakably artificial. Humanity held its collective breath as linguists decoded the simple greeting. We come in peace and wish to establish relations. After decades of wondering if we were alone in the universe, the answer arrived in the form of the Xelnorians. Their ship entered Earth orbit with mechanical precision, a gleaming structure that resembled cut diamond more than metal. Captain Lisa Morgan stood at the window of Lunar Base Alpha, watching the shuttle descend toward the landing pad. Her uniform was pressed perfectly, medals aligned with military precision. She had rehearsed this moment countless times, but her dry mouth betrayed her nerves. "How do I look?" she asked, adjusting her collar one last time. Lieutenant John Perkins glanced up from his tablet, like someone who's about to meet aliens and is trying not to throw up. Lisa shot him a warning look. "Your sense of humor stays locked down today, Lieutenant. These Xelnorians don't understand jokes. We can't afford any misunderstandings." John nodded, but the mischievous glint never left his eyes. "Yes, Captain. Serious as a heart attack." "Got it." The landing pad's airlock cycled. Lisa took a deep breath and straightened her shoulders. The diplomatic team assembled behind her, faces tense with excitement and anxiety. The inner door slid open. The Xelnorians were tall, nearly 7 feet, with bodies that seemed built from interlocking crystal plates. They moved with fluid grace despite their rigid appearance. Their faces had rough humanoid features, 2 eyes, a mouth-like opening, and sensory nodes where ears might be. The eyes were multifaceted, like insect eyes made of blue gemstone. Ambassador Zixklar stepped forward. His crystals shimmered with subtle pulses of light. When he spoke, his mouth didn't move. Instead, a small device at his throat translated his crystalline vibrations into English. "Captain Morgan of Earth, we bring greetings from the Galactic Confederation." His voice sounded like wind chimes processed through a computer, beautiful but utterly without emotion. Lisa executed a perfect formal bow. "Ambassador Zixklar, Earth welcomes you and your delegation. We are honored to be considered for membership in your confederation." The reception proceeded with careful precision. The humans led their visitors through the base's main hall, where Earth's finest achievements were displayed. The Xelnorians examined everything with their faceted eyes, asking technical questions but showing no sign of being impressed. Dr. Olivia Wright, the team's xenolinguistics specialist, whispered to Lisa, "They're scanning everything. Their eyes contain advanced sensors." John leaned in from Lisa's other side. "Bet they're fun at parties." "Lieutenant," Lisa hissed. At the formal dinner, conversation remained stilted. The Xelnorians did not eat as humans did, but absorbed energy through their crystalline structures under special lights installed for their comfort. Ambassador Zixklar addressed the room. "Your species has advanced quickly. Only 500 of your years ago, you used primitive combustion for heat. Now you have rudimentary space travel." Lisa wasn't sure if this was a compliment or an observation. "We're eager to learn from more advanced civilizations." "This is logical," Zixklar replied. "The Confederation values diversity of thought processes. Humans appear to have unusual neural patterns. This interests us." John muttered to the engineer beside him, "I think he just called us weird thinkers." Sam Kelly, the base's lead engineer, smothered a smile. The ambassador turned his gemstone eyes toward them. "You are communicating information that causes facial muscle contractions. Please share with the group." The room fell silent. John cleared his throat. "Just agreeing that we're looking forward to cultural exchange, sir." "Ambassador." Lisa changed the subject quickly. "Ambassador, tomorrow we've prepared demonstrations of Earth's scientific achievements." "Acceptable," Zixklar said. "We will reciprocate with displays of basic Confederation technologies." As the reception ended, the Xelnorians retired to their quarters. The Earth team gathered in the command center for debriefing. Lisa collapsed into her chair. That was like talking to the world's most advanced calculator. They have no concept of small talk, Olivia said. Their language has no idioms, no metaphors. Everything is literal. John sprawled in his seat. 1 week of this. Just kill me now. No one's dying on my watch, Lisa said. We'll figure out how to connect with them. Humanity's future and the stars might depend on it. Outside the window, Earth hung like a blue jewel in the black sky, now no longer the only world with intelligent life that they knew. Whether that was good news remained to be seen. 7 days into the diplomatic mission, tension filled the air of Lunar Base Alpha. The human crew walked on eggshells around their alien visitors. Every conversation with the Xelnorians felt like navigating a minefield of potential misunderstandings. Dr. Olivia Wright spent hours each day studying recordings of the alien speech patterns. She sat in her lab surrounded by screens displaying wavelength analyses and linguistic comparisons. Found anything useful? Captain Lisa Morgan asked, placing a cup of coffee beside the tired linguist. Olivia rubbed her eyes. Their language has no words for humor, sarcasm, or irony. Nothing that isn't literal. It's like they evolved without the concept entirely. Lisa frowned. That explains a lot. Yesterday I told Ambassador Zixklar that the moon had a nice view, and he spent 10 minutes explaining that space has no atmosphere to create optical effects. They think we're being inaccurate when we're just being human. Olivia sighed. The cultural exchange presentation tomorrow is our best chance to bridge this gap. The cultural exchange was set up in the base's largest meeting room. The human team sat on one side, the crystalline Xelnorians on the other. The aliens went first. Ambassador Zixklar stood beside a holographic display. We will demonstrate Xelnorian mathematical achievements that form the basis of our civilization. For the next hour, complex equations and geometric structures floated in the air. The human scientists watched in awe as the ambassador explained mathematical concepts that unified quantum mechanics and gravity, something Earth scientists had sought for centuries. When it was Earth's turn, Lisa nodded to Lieutenant John Perkins, who managed the presentation system. Show them our prepared cultural video. John tapped at his tablet. The screen lit up, but instead of the dignified documentary about human art and science, a different video began playing. It was Cosmic Mishaps, a popular comedy show about fictional first contact scenarios gone wrong. On screen, an actor in a ridiculous alien costume with wobbly antennae tried to eat a potted plant, while human diplomats watched in horror. Then the alien accidentally sat on the self-destruct button of his own ship. John frantically tried to stop the video. Wrong file. This isn't. But it was too late. The humans in the room erupted with laughter. Engineer Sam Kelly doubled over, tears streaming down his face. Even Captain Morgan couldn't help a snort of laughter escaping before she composed herself. The Xelnorians stared at the laughing humans with their gemstone eyes. Their crystalline bodies tensed visibly, light patterns flashing across their surfaces in what appeared to be alarm signals. What is happening? Ambassador Zixklar demanded, his mechanical voice rising in volume. Are your people experiencing respiratory distress? Lisa tried to regain control. No, Ambassador, we're just. Medical emergency protocols initiated, one of the Xelnorian aides announced, removing a device from a compartment in his crystalline chest. Dr. Wright jumped up. No, please. We're fine. This is called laughter. It's a natural human response to humor. The Xelnorians froze, their light patterns pulsing in synchronized patterns as they communicated among themselves. Ambassador Zixklar finally spoke. Explain this laughter. It appears painful, yet you continue willingly. It's not painful, Olivia explained. It's pleasurable. Humans laugh when we find something funny or unexpected in a way that brings joy. What is the evolutionary purpose? Another Xelnorian asked. John, having finally shut off the video, shrugged. It feels good. Helps us bond. Relieves stress. The ambassador's crystals flashed rapidly. You experience physical reactions to information patterns that have no survival value. This seems dangerous and inefficient. Lisa stepped forward. With respect, Ambassador, humor and laughter are central to human culture. They help us cope with difficult situations and connect with each other. Fascinating, Zix-Clar said, though his tone conveyed no fascination. We must study this phenomenon further. It appears your species can be incapacitated by specific data sequences. This presents significant security concerns. The humans exchanged worried glances. What had begun as an embarrassing mistake was quickly becoming a diplomatic incident. Ambassador, Lisa said carefully, laughter isn't a weakness. It's one of our greatest strengths. The Tselnorians' crystal formations shifted into what the humans had learned was their formal conference position. Ambassador Zix-Clar's voice chimed coldly through the translator. The Galactic Confederation must reassess Earth's readiness for membership. This vulnerability to information-induced physical responses requires further evaluation. The meeting room felt colder than usual as Ambassador Zix-Clar stood rigidly before the human delegation. His crystalline body reflected the harsh overhead lights, sending tiny rainbows dancing across the walls. Captain Morgan, we request immediate access to all human communication databases, the ambassador said. Lisa crossed her arms. May I ask why, Ambassador? We must identify and catalog all instances of this humor phenomenon. It presents an unknown variable in diplomatic relations. Dr. Olivia Wright stepped forward. Ambassador, humor isn't dangerous. It's a form of communication that brings people together. The Tselnorian's faceted eyes shifted toward her. We observed 5 humans temporarily lose control of their respiratory systems. 2 experienced moisture leakage from optical organs. 1 subject emitted high-pitched vocalizations that would attract predators in any natural environment. John Perkins couldn't help himself. You mean Sam laughed so hard he squealed? Sam Kelly elbowed him sharply. Ambassador Zix-Clar continued as if John hadn't spoken. The Confederation must determine if humans can function reliably when exposed to these humor stimuli. We have transmitted our findings to the Central Fleet. Lisa felt a chill that had nothing to do with the room temperature. You've contacted your fleet about this. Correct. 3 additional Confederation species have expressed interest in studying this human trait. They will arrive within 2 Earth rotations. The human team exchanged alarmed glances. Their simple diplomatic mission was rapidly expanding beyond their control. Ambassador, Lisa said carefully, I assure you that laughter doesn't impair our ability to function. We've built civilizations, developed technology, and explored space, all while maintaining our sense of humor. The ambassador's lights pulsed in what they had learned was a sign of disagreement. Your species is young. Perhaps you have not yet evolved beyond this response. We don't want to evolve beyond it, Olivia insisted. Humor helps us process difficult truths and connect with each other. It's essential to human well-being. Then it is a dependency, Zix-Clar concluded. We will need to purge all humorous content from shared databases for the safety of all delegates. Lisa straightened her back. I'm afraid I can't agree to that. Ambassador, humor is a fundamental part of human culture. Censoring it would violate the very spirit of cultural exchange that brought us together. The meeting ended with tense formality. The Tselnorians returned to their ship in orbit, leaving the human team worried about what would happen next. In the command center, Lisa called an emergency meeting. This is a disaster, she said, looking at her team's concerned faces. The Tselnorians see one of our most human traits as a weakness. Can't really blame them, Sam said. From their perspective, we look like we're having seizures when we laugh. Dr. Wright brought up a holographic display of her linguistic analysis. The Tselnorians communicate primarily through light patterns and vibrations. Their bodies don't experience the biochemical rewards humans get from laughter. They literally can't understand what we're feeling. So what do we do now? John asked. Pretend we never laugh. Lisa shook her head. No, we don't hide who we are. we find a way to help them understand. And fast, Olivia added, because we have more aliens arriving tomorrow who think we're either broken or fascinating, neither of which helps our case for joining the Confederation. The base's communication officer interrupted with an urgent message. Captain, we're receiving transmissions from 3 different ships approaching lunar orbit. They're all asking about the human laughing phenomenon. Lisa rubbed her temples. Great. We're becoming a galactic sideshow. Maybe that's not such a bad thing, John said thoughtfully. Everyone turned to look at him. I mean, they're interested in us now. That's better than being ignored. Interested in studying us like lab rats, Sam muttered. Dr. Wright's eyes suddenly widened. Wait, John might be onto something. If multiple species are curious about humor, maybe we can use that. Instead of explaining humor, we could demonstrate its value. How? Lisa asked. Olivia smiled slowly. The universal language isn't math or science. It's shared experience. Maybe we need to make them laugh, or whatever their species equivalent is. Operation Chuckle, John said with a grin. I like it. Lisa looked at her team, a small spark of hope kindling. It's risky. If we fail, we could confirm their worst suspicions about us. And if we succeed, Sam asked, then we might just change how the entire galaxy sees humanity. The arrival of 3 new alien ships brought chaos to Lunar Base Alpha. Captain Lisa Morgan stood at the viewing window, watching as shuttles descended from orbit. Each alien species had sent a small delegation to study the humans and their strange behavior. So much for keeping a low profile, she muttered as Lieutenant John Perkins joined her. Look on the bright side, John said. Yesterday we were just another primitive species. Today we're the most interesting thing in the galaxy. The first to arrive were the Blorbs. They looked like large blue water balloons with tiny tentacles and 3 eyes on stalks. They moved by rolling and bouncing, leaving small wet spots on the floor. Next came the chitterlings, insect-like beings with shiny exoskeletons and 4 arms. They walked on their hind legs and made constant clicking sounds that their translator converted to words. Last were the luminary, who barely had physical forms at all. They floated as glowing orbs of light, changing colors as they spoke. In the main conference room, Lisa introduced her team to the new arrivals. The Xelnorians stood apart, their crystal forms rigid and unmoving. The lead Blorb, who called himself Splish, wobbled forward. We have studied the data on human laughter. Very interesting. We believe it is a form of controlled seizure that releases pleasure chemicals. Your species has evolved to enjoy brain malfunctions. Brilliant adaptation. Lisa opened her mouth to correct him, but the chitterling representative interrupted with rapid clicks. No, clearly incorrect. The translator conveyed. Our analysis indicates it is a dominance display. The human who creates the joke demonstrates superior intelligence. Those who laugh show submission. Simple hierarchy behavior. The luminary representative pulsed from blue to green. Both analyses fail to account for the emotional components. Our theory suggests humans use laughter as a pressure release valve for their developing consciousness. Without it, their minds would collapse under existential awareness. None of you understand, Dr. Olivia Wright said firmly. Humor is about connection and shared perspective. It helps us process difficult situations and bond with each other. The aliens all began talking at once, their various theories clashing. The Xelnorian ambassador watched silently, light patterns flicking across his crystalline surface. Enough, Lisa finally said, raising her voice. We can debate theories all day, but you won't understand laughter by talking about it. Engineer Sam Kelly leaned toward John. Operation Chuckle, he whispered. John nodded, then stepped forward. Captain, maybe we should show rather than tell. Actions speak louder than words. What do you propose, Lieutenant? Lisa asked, though she already suspected his answer. A demonstration. We've prepared examples of universal humor that might work across species barriers. The aliens fell silent, Their attention focused on John. "Acceptable," Ambassador Zix-Clar said after a moment. "A practical demonstration may provide clearer data." Lisa reluctantly agreed. "We'll arrange it for tomorrow. But remember, no one is obligated to find anything funny. This is just to help you understand our perspective." After the meeting, the human team gathered in Dr. Wright's lab to plan Operation Chuckle. "This is a terrible idea," Chief Engineer Patricia Johnson said. She was the oldest member of the team and the most skeptical about the plan. "We can't force aliens to understand humor." "We're not forcing anything," Olivia replied. "We're just showing them different types of humor to see if any of it translates." Sam pulled up a list on his tablet. "We've selected examples of physical comedy, visual gags, and surprise humor. Nothing that relies on language or cultural references." "What about practical jokes?" John suggested. "Everyone understands when someone gets unexpectedly wet." Patricia frowned. "We are not pranking alien diplomats." "Of course not," Lisa said quickly. "We keep this professional and respectful. The goal is to demonstrate that humor has value, not to make them the butt of jokes." They worked late into the night, selecting video clips and preparing simple demonstrations. The stakes felt impossibly high. The future of human relations with the galaxy might depend on whether they could explain why people laugh. As they finished, Lisa looked at her tired team. "Remember, even if this fails, we've already accomplished something important. 4 alien species are here because they find something about humanity worth studying." "Exactly," John said with a smile. "And if all else fails, I still have my backup plan." "Which is?" Lisa asked warily. John grinned. "Run away very fast and hope they don't follow." Despite everything, the humans found themselves laughing. Proof that even in the face of diplomatic disaster, humor still had its place. The next day, the main hall of Lunar Base Alpha was transformed. The human team had set up a small stage area with various props. Captain Lisa Morgan paced nervously as alien delegates filed in and took their seats. The blords wobbled into place, the chitterlings clicked excitedly, and the luminary hovered above their designated spots, pulsing with curious colors. The Excelnorians entered last, their crystal bodies moving in perfect unison. "Welcome to our presentation on human humor," Lisa began once everyone was settled. "We believe that understanding this aspect of our culture is important for successful relations between our species." Dr. Olivia Wright stepped forward. "Humor often comes from the unexpected, when something surprises us, but in a safe way. We'll demonstrate several types, starting with physical comedy." Sam Kelly and John Perkins took the stage. They had practiced a simple routine involving exaggerated movements. Sam pretended to slip on something, and John caught him just before he fell. Then they reversed roles, with increasingly dramatic near-falls. The human staff members in the audience chuckled politely. The aliens remained silent, watching with various sensory organs. Next came visual humor. Olivia showed a series of optical illusions where objects appeared to change shape or size depending on perspective. These drew interested murmurs from the luminary, whose lights flickered rapidly, but no reaction that resembled laughter. "Perhaps something more universal," Olivia suggested, signaling for the next demonstration. John brought out a small box and pretended to be afraid of what might be inside. As he slowly opened it, a spring-loaded toy jumped out. The humans jumped, then laughed at their own startled reactions. The chitterlings clicking increased in tempo, which their translator rendered as interesting fear response followed by auditory signaling that the danger is false. "Not exactly," Olivia tried to explain. "The surprise makes us laugh because it releases tension. It's a neurological reset after perceived threat," the luminary representative finished, glowing a confident purple. Chief Engineer Patricia Johnson, who had been managing the presentation equipment, shook her head in frustration. Nothing was working. The aliens were analyzing humor instead of experiencing it. Ambassador Zix-Clar's mechanical voice chimed in. We appreciate your attempts to explain this behavior. However, we remain unconvinced of its evolutionary value. Patricia stepped forward to adjust the final demonstration, a holographic display. As she moved toward the control panel, she didn't notice the bundle of cables on the floor. Her foot caught, sending her stumbling forward. She grabbed at the nearest object to steady herself, which happened to be the refreshment table. The table tilted, sending a bowl of bright blue punch flying through the air. As if in slow motion, everyone watched the liquid arc across the room and splash directly onto Ambassador Zixclar's crystalline head. The blue liquid dripped down the Xelnorian's faceted surface, collecting in the geometric patterns of his crystal body. The room fell completely silent. Even the humans stopped breathing. Patricia's face went pale. "Ambassador, I am so sorry." Before she could finish, something unexpected happened. One of the blorbs began to vibrate, its gelatinous body jiggling in an odd rhythm. The vibration produced a sound like bubbles rising through thick liquid. Blorp, blorp, blorp. Then the chitterlings started a synchronized clicking that rose and fell in a pattern that somehow conveyed amusement. Their four arms waved in unison, antennae twitching. Most surprising of all, the luminary suddenly brightened, pulsing with rapid flashes of yellow and orange that spread between them like a visual conversation. Only the Xelnorians remained still, blue punch still dripping from their ambassador's crystalline form. Sam leaned toward Lisa and whispered, "Are they laughing?" The lead blorb, Splish, rolled forward, still making bubbling sounds. "Yes, yes, we comprehend now. Pattern disruption in safe context. Expected dignity of formal ambassador combined with unexpected colored liquid creates perfect neural surprise." The chitterling representative clicked rapidly. The liquid application was non-threatening but status-altering. The authority figure is temporarily diminished but not harmed. We understand. The luminary glowed brighter. The emotional resonance is clear. We detect the pleasure-reward brain patterns in humans watching this event. Fascinating. For the first time, the humans weren't sure how to respond. Their carefully planned demonstrations had failed, but an accidental pratfall had somehow succeeded where their efforts had not. Ambassador Zixclar calmly wiped blue punch from his crystalline face. "I fail to see how my current state produces this reaction." Captain Lisa Morgan didn't know whether to be mortified or thrilled. On one hand, her chief engineer had just doused an alien ambassador with punch. On the other hand, 3 alien species were now experiencing their own versions of laughter. The blorbs continued their bubbling chuckles, their entire bodies wobbling with each blorb. The chitterlings clicking formed rhythmic patterns that somehow conveyed merriment. The luminary pulsed with bright colors that spread from one glowing orb to another like a wave. Only the Xelnorians remained unmoved, their crystalline forms rigid and uncomprehending. "I apologize for the accident, Ambassador," Lisa said quickly. "We'll get you cleaned up right away." Before anyone could move, Splish the blorb rolled forward, still vibrating with mirth. "No need for concern. This is perfect demonstration. We understand now. Humor is pattern violation that causes no harm but creates surprise." The lead chitterling stepped forward, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Agreed. The unexpected rearrangement of status symbols, in this case, covering a dignified being with undignified substance, creates benign violation that triggers recognition of absurdity." The luminary representative glowed brighter. "We detect the neurological benefits now. This shared recognition of harmless incongruity creates social bonding chemicals in your brains, an evolutionary advantage for group cohesion." Dr. Olivia Wright could hardly believe what she was hearing. "You all actually understand humor now. From this one accident. Sometimes the best teachers are unplanned moments," John Perkins said with a grin. Ambassador Zixclar finally spoke, blue liquid still dripping from his crystal form. "I fail to see how my current state illustrates anything useful." The blorb oozed closer to the Xelnorian. "Friend Zixclar, the humor is not in your discomfort, but in the unexpected contrast. Your species values precision and dignity. The blue liquid temporarily disrupts that pattern without causing actual harm. The contrast between your normal state and current state creates the humor. It's the surprise and incongruity that matters, Olivia added gently. The Xelnorian ambassador tilted his head, a rare gesture of contemplation. I comprehend the logic, but do not experience the emotional response you describe. That's okay, Lisa said. Not all humans find the same things funny either. The important thing is understanding that humor serves a purpose in our society. The news spread quickly through the alien delegations. The Blords, Chitterlings, and Luminary all sent excited transmissions to their homeworlds about their discovery. Within hours, requests began pouring in from other Confederation species to observe human humor firsthand. In the command center, Lisa read through the growing list of alien requests with amazement. I can't believe this. We've gone from diplomatic incident to galactic sensation overnight. Sam Kelly laughed. All because Patricia tripped and spilled punch on the one species that still doesn't get the joke. Chief Engineer Patricia Johnson blushed. I'm never going to live this down, am I? Are you kidding? John said. You should put it on your resume. Advanced interspecies relations through accidental beverage distribution. The room erupted in laughter, the tension of the past days finally breaking. Dr. Wright looked thoughtful. The Xelnorians still don't understand, though. I wonder if they ever will. They're trying, Lisa observed. Ambassador Zixklar has requested all available research on human humor. He's approaching it logically, even if he can't feel it emotionally. That's actually impressive, Olivia admitted. They recognize that understanding humor will help them interact with other species, even if they can't experience it themselves. A communication officer interrupted with an urgent message. Captain, we're receiving new transmissions from the Confederation. They want to elevate Earth's status from prospective member to cultural consultant immediately. Lisa blinked in surprise. Cultural consultant. What does that mean? The officer looked up from her screen. Apparently, they want humans to help facilitate relations between species with different emotional processing systems. They're calling us emotional translators. John grinned. So our ability to laugh at ourselves just became our most valuable skill in the galaxy. It appears so, Lisa said, smiling. From diplomatic incident to valuable resource in the span of one accident. Patricia shook her head. Should I feel proud or embarrassed? Both, Lisa replied. That seems appropriately human, doesn't it? 3 months after the punch incident, Lunar Base Alpha had transformed from a simple diplomatic outpost to the busiest cultural exchange center in Earth's space program. Captain Lisa Morgan walked through the crowded corridors, nodding to the various aliens who now called the base their temporary home. The base had been expanded to accommodate the growing interest in human culture. New living quarters, meeting spaces, and even a comedy research lab had been hastily constructed. Earth's governments had quickly recognized the incredible diplomatic opportunity and poured resources into the program. Lisa entered the main observation lounge where Dr. Olivia Wright was teaching a class to a mixed group of aliens. Humor often comes from the unexpected connection between two seemingly unrelated ideas, Olivia explained as Lisa slipped into the back of the room. We call these jokes. Let me demonstrate. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. The blorbs in the room immediately began their bubbling laughter. The chitterlings clicked appreciatively. Even a few representatives from species that had arrived more recently, the plant-like fronds and the serpentine coilans, showed their own versions of amusement. The 3 Xelnorians in attendance merely took notes, their crystal surfaces reflecting the room's lights. Lisa continued to her office where Lieutenant John Perkins waited with a status report. How's our newest class of humor ambassadors doing? Lisa asked, settling behind her desk. John grinned. Graduating with flying colors. 35 humans trained in interspecies cultural translation, ready for deployment to Confederation worlds. I still can't believe we're sending comedians and humor researchers as our first official representatives to alien worlds, Lisa said, shaking her head in amazement. Believe it, John replied. The Confederation values us for exactly what the Selnorians initially feared, our emotional intelligence and ability to find levity in difficult situations. A gentle chime announced a visitor. Ambassador Zixklar entered, his crystalline form now adorned with small blue markings, a deliberate reminder of the famous punch incident that had changed everything. Captain Morgan, Lieutenant Perkins, the ambassador greeted them, his mechanical voice unchanged but somehow less rigid than before. I bring news from the Confederation Council. Lisa gestured to a seat. Please, Ambassador. What news? The Council has approved Earth's fast-tracked membership application. You will be formally inducted at the Centennial Assembly, 3 months from now. Lisa's eyes widened. That's incredibly fast. Most species wait decades for membership. Most species do not offer unique insights into emotional communication, the ambassador replied. The Confederation has determined that humans fill a critical gap in our collective knowledge. John couldn't hide his smile. All because we can take a joke and make them, the ambassador added. Though I still cannot experience humor as you do, I have developed analytical models that successfully predict what other species will find amusing with 78.3% accuracy. Lisa was impressed. The Selnorians had approached humor like any other scientific problem, studying, cataloging, and analyzing until they could understand it intellectually, even if they couldn't feel it emotionally. You've come a long way from viewing laughter as a concerning vulnerability, she observed. The ambassador's crystals shimmered slightly. Indeed, we now recognize it as an alternative processing system for complex social dynamics. Different, but valuable. After the ambassador left, John turned to Lisa. You know what's really funny about all this? If the Selnorians had gotten the joke from the beginning, none of this would have happened. It's their inability to laugh that made human laughter so important. Chief Engineer Patricia Johnson stuck her head in the office door. Transport's ready, Captain. The new humor ambassadors are waiting for their final briefing before departure. Lisa stood, smoothing her uniform. Who would have thought my career would lead to this? Briefing comedians on their diplomatic missions to alien worlds. The three of them walked together toward the shuttle bay. Through the large windows, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the blackness of space. But it no longer seemed isolated or alone. Dozens of alien ships orbited nearby, all drawn by humanity's most unexpected gift to galactic society. You know, Patricia said thoughtfully, they say laughter is the best medicine. Turns out it's also the best diplomacy. Lisa smiled. And to think the Selnorians worried it made us vulnerable. In reality, it might be the strongest thing about us. Not might be, John corrected, is being able to laugh at ourselves while taking others seriously. That's humanity's superpower. As they entered the shuttle bay filled with excited new ambassadors, Lisa felt a surge of pride. Humanity had found its place among the stars not through advanced technology or military might, but through the simple, powerful ability to share a laugh. 1 year after first contact, Earth hosted the Galactic Confederation's Centennial Assembly. It was an honor typically reserved for founding members, not newcomers. Yet here they were, the grand hall of the newly built Interstellar Relations Center in Geneva filled with representatives from over 50 alien species. Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the stage in her formal dress uniform, feeling both proud and nervous. As Earth's official representative, she would help welcome the assembled delegates. Behind her sat her core team. Lieutenant John Perkins, Dr. Olivia Wright, Engineer Sam Kelly, and Chief Engineer Patricia Johnson, the woman whose accidental punch spill had changed everything. Still can't believe we're here, Sam whispered, looking out at the colorful array of aliens filling the hall. Believe it, Lisa whispered back. Earth is now home to the Confederation's first Emotional Intelligence Academy. The lights dimmed, and the assembly began. Species after species gave formal addresses, many specifically mentioning humanity's contribution to interspecies understanding. The Blorb spoke of improved relations with the chitterlings thanks to shared humor training. The Luminary described new forms of art inspired by human comedic timing. Then Ambassador Zixklar took the stage. The Xelnorian's crystal body had been polished to a dazzling shine for the occasion. The small blue markings that commemorated the famous punch incident now a badge of honor rather than embarrassment. Esteemed members of the Confederation, he began, his mechanical voice resonating through the hall. I come before you to present our research findings on the strategic value of human emotional processing. The crowd grew silent. The Xelnorians were known for their analytical brilliance, and their studies were always taken seriously. For 827 cycles, the Confederation has operated on principles of logical cooperation and mutual benefit. These principles have served us well. However, our research indicates that the addition of human emotional processing, specifically their use of humor, offers significant advantages in diplomatic relations. Ambassador Zixklar displayed charts and statistics showing improved treaty outcomes when human humor ambassadors were involved in negotiations. The data was clear. Humor helped diffuse tensions and build trust between different species. In conclusion, the ambassador said, the Xelnorian Analysis Committee recommends full integration of human humor protocols into Confederation diplomatic training. Polite applause filled the hall. Lissa noticed John trying not to smile too broadly. Their mission had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. But then Ambassador Zixklar did something unexpected. He paused, his crystal form shifting slightly. Before I conclude, I would like to attempt something new, he said. I have been studying human humor extensively. I believe I have created what humans call a joke. The hall went completely silent. Even the humans on stage exchanged surprised glances. The Xelnorians had never attempted humor before, only analyzed it. A human, a blorb, and a chitterling enter a space station. The ambassador began, his mechanical voice as flat as ever. The human asks for a refreshment. The blorb asks for a moisture supplement, and the chitterling asks for nutritional matter. The station attendant says, "Is this some form of interspecies gathering?" And they reply, "No, this is just the first line of a joke that lacks a proper conclusion because the Xelnorian telling it still doesn't understand punchlines." A moment of silence followed. Then Captain Morgan let out a small laugh, not at the joke itself, which was terrible, but at the earnest attempt and self-awareness it demonstrated. Her laughter spread through the human delegation, then to the blorbs, whose bodies wiggled with mirth, and to the chitterlings, whose clicking built into a crescendo of amusement. Soon the entire hall was filled with the various sounds of 50 species expressing their versions of laughter. Ambassador Zixklar stood silently, observing the reaction. "Fascinating," he said when the noise finally died down. "I failed at humor, yet somehow succeeded." Lisa stepped forward and placed a hand gently on the ambassador's crystalline shoulder. "That's actually the most human thing you could have done. Sometimes our failures connect us more than our successes." The ambassador's crystals shimmered slightly. "Then perhaps we understand each other better than we thought."